Hello everyone and welcome back to Destiny. Lightfall is just a day away and servers are about to go offline for that 24-hour downtime. And once the servers come back online on February 28th at 9 a.m. Pacific, we're going to be able to jump right into the Lightfall campaign and see what's going on with the Witness and the Traveler. Things are going to get absolutely out of hand and you're going to want a solid loadout going into the Legendary Lightfall campaign because you absolutely want to play Legendary so you can get some high power gear at the end of the campaign that will get you much closer to being raid ready. So in this video, I'm going to highlight my personal loadout going into the Lightfall campaign. So let's jump in and break it all down. Alright, so I'm personally going to be kicking things off with my Caliban's Hand build here with my Gunslinger, because again, we don't get full access to Strand till the end of the campaign, so you're going to want your current builds to get you there. And you can see I've just simply gone through and started removing all of the armor mods from my armor. You don't have to do this. I'm only doing this because, of course, we're getting the whole revamp to the armor mod system, and there's going to be a lot of different values and energy costs that are going to be changing. So I'm kind of leaving things open so I can just get in here, before I even shoot my first bullet, jump in here, play around with the loadouts, play around with the different new mods, see what we have access to right away, what we have to sort of earn again. It's going to be interesting to see if your collection sort of carries over into the sort of rebooted version of that. But here I've just sort of opened up what I've got here. If you've got the Artifice armor, I've heard that there can be bugs with it, so unslot anything you have in the Artifice slot if you do. I don't think that's going to be a problem, but I just did that anyways as part of my prep. But again, the only other armor that I have on me are the items that I need for my other builds, but I'm going to be starting things off with Caliban's Hand. It's one of my favorite exotics in the game. It's really satisfying to use. The ignitions are super powerful, and I'm really looking forward to combining this with some of the new exotic revamps that we're going to be going over here in just a moment. But before we get into weapons, I'm just going to go over my subclass really quick. I like to use Blade Barrage for that high DPS, and my favorite aspect in the game has to be Gunpowder Gamble. It is insanely powerful and very satisfying to use as a hunter. I highly recommend slotting this for the Legendary campaign. It's going to help you dish out a lot of more DPS. But moving on to weapons, I sort of started with what I think I'm going to start things off with, just because I don't want to have to immediately run to the vault. So I've just sort of got an array of weapons here to choose from. And, for the most part, you can kind of go in with whatever you want. That's the beauty of the Legendary campaign system. There's no real right or wrong answer here. So for me, I'm just going to go with a single element build to see what we can accomplish with some of the new updates that are coming out. So starting off with kinetics, we have the Ragnall D. It's one of my favorite kinetic shotguns. It's a good thing to have in the back pocket. Wither Horde, probably my favorite exotic in the game. I expect that we're going to be using a lot of kinetic slot exotics. There is that new Strand sidearm and of course that new Stasis Glaive. So very popular for exotics up here, and of course the Quicksilver Storm. I personally just got this right now as I went ahead and finished up the pre-order, and I wanted to make sure that I got the gun before the campaign, because I kind of want to use it during the campaign. I've also got Outbreak Perfected. This is really fantastic for DPS if you find yourself having a hard time on a boss or on a, just maybe the Tormentors just have a lot of health. Outbreak Perfected is going to be awesome. And of course, maybe against those Tormentors, the Riptide is going to be really good. If you happen to have one with Chill Clip, we might be able to slow down a lot of those bigger, more daunting enemies. Especially if you're going to be running a exotic energy primary, then you might want to have that in that slot. And speaking of which, I think I kind of want to start things off with Sunshot. This is getting Scorch on every one of those sort of explosive hits, so I'm very curious to see how much sort of explosion and destruction you can cause with this thing. Same thing with Polaris Lance. It's getting an ignition on every 5th shot, which is nothing to really scoff at. I'm very curious to see, again, how kind of explosive things can get with these weapons now. I've got some other weapons in case I want to switch things up to Arc. We've got Forbearance, we've got an Iclos SMG. These are going to be things if I want to switch to my Arc subclass and maintain that single element synergy. I've got another weapon here in my energy slot, a good solar CQC in case I do want to start things off with that Quicksilver Storm. It's going to be a perfect special weapon to go accompanied with that. And then I've got my Collective Obligation. This has probably been my favorite weapon this entire season of the Seraph as the recording of this video. And of course it pairs amazingly well with the Gear Falcon's Hauberk if I want to go in. The Hunter has really quick and easy access to all 3 debuffs at a moment's notice, and you can really do just a ton of damage with Collective Obligation. So if I find myself having any kind of difficulty during the campaign, I'm definitely going to be switching things up to that. Cataclysmic is what I wanted to start things off with. I've also got Gallowhorn here. This is just, I mean, hands down, this is probably going to be the thing you switch to if you want to do just a ton of boss DPS. If you're having any problems with boss damage, you're going to want to go ahead and switch to the Gallowhorn. There's no shame in it. It's an amazing gun. And if you have fireteam members that are using a legendary rocket launcher, then if you have the Catalyst good to go, then you're going to be giving them Wolfpack rounds. Everyone's going to be happy. All right, moving on to Sola Scar, a sword. I love this one because it is a flame caster and it also has chain reaction. So I'm just gonna go in and have a lot of fun with this sword. I figured, if I am gonna go in with a sword, even though I do love the sort of eager edge other half, but I don't exactly want to skip through this entire, DLC, so we're not gonna necessarily start with the other half, but, I've always got to have it on me, because why not? Aside from that, I've got my Wendigo ready to go. We've got a buff to grenade launchers coming next season, and of course I've got the Hothead ready to go in case somebody else has a Gallowhorn. But yeah, I think that's how I'm going to start things off, at least for now. If I come up with another idea, I'll go ahead and pull it from my vault probably during the campaign itself. Go ahead and share your starting a loadout down below. Smash the like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe and hit the notification bell for continued Lightfall coverage as we go into launch. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.